Hello folks, and welcome to beautiful Saarbrücken Hauptbahnhof, where today we're doing something very simple, a very simple one-line network that will be covering depth. Yeah, what he said. But first, I guess I finally made it as a YouTuber because I am about to plug for y'all right now NordVPN. That's right, NordVPN, which has recently been ranked the best VPN of 2025. Staying safe online has never grown difficulty and you can be exploited by hackers, but NordVPN allows you to change your IP address, making you harder to track, securing your privacy. But more important in this day and age that we live in, it also lets you change what location you're accessing websites from, particularly helpful if you're in a backwards, increasingly locked down country like the UK, where you need to give random websites your ID just to, I don't know, read a news article about Sonic the Hedgehog or whatever. Check out the link in the description below to get a discount on using NordVPN today and to get started on a more secure, more open internet future for yourself. And now with that, let's get back to your regularly scheduled content. So anyways, yeah, we're gonna ride the Saarbahn and we're gonna go all the way to France, which is very exciting because this is actually my first time going to France. There's Vlex train behind me. I rode one of those earlier and I gotta be honest, some very well-dressed French lesbians told me that I was kind of cute and I'm going to be riding that high all day. Alright. This is the Saarbahn, a tram-train line/system opened in the city of Saarbrücken in 1999. Now, despite Saarbrücken itself having had a proper tram network in the past, this was lost decades prior, thanks to, well, the same reason it was lost in most West German cities that got rid of them: the advent of car culture. But the Saarbahn was different. This was meant to be a new age of transit for this German-French border town, based on the Karlsruhe tram-train model, which is a fancy way of saying, yeah, sometimes the trams go onto heavy rail tracks. Oh no, someone lost their cage on the tracks. Running from Lebach in the north, this one singular line runs all the way through the city center, including a major stop at Saarbrücken Hauptbahnhof, the central station, also known as Saarbrücken Eurobahnhof if you're a bougie bitch. Okay, Saarbrücken Hauptbahnhof / Eurobahnhof. I don't know which one they prefer to use. Elevator, there's gonna be two this video. One in the stink, two in the pink, something like that. Oh, that's interesting. They have the same floor tiles in the elevator. He yelled at me, jeez. It smells like a fresh, cleaned bathroom. So not only, but the squeaky door loses points. It gets Bahnsteig. The clean elevator award, but also the should probably be oiled award. Can you? Oh, the door got stuck. That's just bizarre. Hey, let's walk to the tram stop. I see one just over there, which means we're probably going to miss it, but it's okay because I think in the city center it's every, what, 7.5 minutes? Yeah, we'll figure it out. We're also right near a very nice pedestrianized area, so +1 for urbanism, I guess. According to one local I've just met, this thing is always late, so at least we know it is German in spirit. What's not so cute are the trams themselves. They feel kind of ghetto, like really unfinished, dingy, and also a lot of them have window dots obscure to views of beautiful countryside because gotta get that advertising in. Please admire this filter here, which I'm calling the Saarbahn filter. After the stop at Romerskastel, tram trains switch onto more mainline style train tracks instead of the mostly grade separated tram tracks. It's starting to get a little loud in here. And a little French. No, seriously, no cars allowed, it seems. So we're just now approaching Breibach Bahnhof, which is where actually a lot of these trams short turn. This one actually is, though, heading all the way to France, and there's two very important things I want to notice. First off, this entire section from Saarbrücken Hauptbahnhof, completely independent right-of-way, which means that no mixed traffic running at all. And second off, only after the penultimate stop did we switch from tram running granted and protected right-of-way to actually now operating on mainline railway tracks like you see on law of the network in Karlsruhe, and I just think that's very interesting. You can really tell we're on the tram-train section and not just the normal tram section, because every stop is blank Bahnhof.
With many trams actually short-turning at Breibach Bahnhof. Usually though, tram trains continue south all the way to Saarbrücken across the French border, also known as Saargemeinde in German.
Baguette. Baguette.
So thanks to issues with the French SNCF, trains were short-turning one stop earlier that day I was there at Handweiler Bahnhof.
Alright, so a lot of people stayed on, so I guess maybe they were wrong. Maybe it doesn't end here. I don't know what happens next. Oh, never mind, he's saying bus. Please mind the gap. According to DB, this is officially Handweiler Bad Löschingen. Interesting. I'm so close. So, what are my thoughts on everything? The Saarbahn is a trip. Such an absolute trip. And now for this last bit, what even makes the most sense? I mean, I guess I'm in the EU. I don't know. I don't see anything marked bus stop. Oh, I see it. I see the bus. Yep, that's my bus.
So, I will say, the bus I rode for that last stop was actually air-conditioned and really comfy, as compared to the kind of rundown tram I was on.
Well, my chariot awaits. I'm on board. It's a stop. So funny.
In addition, though the main interchange at the Eurobahnhof has 4 different platforms for the trams, most traffic outside of the S1 here is just bus traffic. Though not an S-Bahn and sometimes called the STR1, the S1 here, yeah, that's what's often called, much like the S-Bahn Middle Elbow, which we covered on a previous transit in depth on TFTSB, is the only line. There have been S2, S3, and S9 lines run in the past. S2 and S3 were special routes run for special events, so the last time either of them ran was over 15 years ago. The S9, though, is a special one that runs with the main tram section in the Saarbrücken area is unusable, thus routing the tram-train lines over conventional rail to the central station, where they'll then go into the station proper using one of the normal platforms. When this is done, tram trains can only run every half an hour, compared to the every 7.5 usually run the city center trunk.
You know, I'm a train and tram filmer through and through, and usually I'm not big on buses, but this bus is so much nicer than that tram. The seats are plusher, it's cleaner, there's actual floor, and there's air conditioning, which is the big thing.
Also, they are actually called tram trains. You can't, that's what they call them. Here's a sign at Saargemeinde. French people eat your heart out.
So here I am just across the French border. I had to take a bus for the very last station, a replacement bus that thought it was a train, even though the train question was a tram. And I'm in France, which I guess means time to explore France. It's time for our first ever French train station elevator review between Voie B and Voie D. As you can tell, I may have studied French in high school, but I barely remember any of it. So let's go from quoi to zoutre. Oh, God, it smells like... How do I put it? It's not piss, but it is questionable. Like, it smells like mold in here, which means I want to get the fuck out ASAP. What the hell? I see no one else here, and I don't see any departure boards. I think we do that better in Germany. So I'm going to assume no trains. Oh, congratulations, France. I've been here for about an hour now, and you've already disappointed me.
That's really the crux of it, though. I think Saarbrücken is a cool town with a cool line, though admittedly the urbanism even little ways away from the Saarbahn leaves a lot to be as desired. Like a lot. This Autobahn was like a 5-minute walk from the central station. What the hell? Now hi, before we end off, post-mortem office Jamie with an under construction train layout here. Instead of answering some viewer questions, actually I announced previously that I was making this video on the Saarbahn, and I got 2 great comments from a couple of locals who I would like to give credit to and mention. First off is Take a Bite of My Poison Cake, which is just such a great name, who says, part of why the Saarbahn is the way it is because planning in the traffic planning in the Saar region sucks. According to the traffic involvement plan for local public transport, the VP UPNV, or I guess UPN-VAL, the Rossel and Bistelbahn were supposed to be reactivated in combination with a new tram track being built through Saarbrücken so that they'd be run as the S32 and S31 respectively of the Saarbahn. In the study, they didn't consider new tracks supposed to be built in their calculations at all, despite it being the preferred variant in the UPN-VAL. This led to a number of issues of running the Bistelbahn and or Rostalbahn as Saarbahn lines, mostly that they'd either have to run additional trains between Ringberbach and Ludwigstrasse or take away trains from the densely populated Malstadt. Anyways, this is why the Saarbahn reactivation supposedly isn't viable, while they're getting reactivated as conventional railways for the planned S-Bahn Saarland, which is something I would like to cover. If not, at least a short, potentially has its own big video sometime, let me know in the comments. And let me tell you, take a bite of my poison cake. If you're watching this, I would love to just interview you and pick your brain. Because as someone who is not a traffic planner or an urban planner, I've been very honest about the fact that I am a foamer with opinions. This seems so like it goes so deep, and like the Saarbahn could be so much more than what it currently is. Another one I want to mention is from the creatively named user FT4709, who says, speaking of someone who grew up in this region, the history of this system, the Saarbahn, so many missed opportunities that's really sad, makes me seriously angry. So I always tend to have a second line that would run from Volklingen in the west, Arwood is St. Ingbert in the east. An original proposal, this was even a line with the highest expected ridership, whereas while most of the infrastructure is already in place as it used existing rail line for most of its journey, it even rebuilt a bridge in order to make room for this new line. It never got built for pretty much no reason at all. As a result, there's no interchange between regional rail and the Saarbahn east of Saarbrücken, as that was supposed to happen in St. Ingbert. Thus, anyone who wants to go from St. Ingbert to, say, Helwigstrasse has to do a massive detour via the Hauptbahnhof/Eurobahnhof when it could have been a short 1C trip. There are several cases like this that make the whole thing seem like a step back compared to the previous bus network, when in reality it's actually as a result of half-assing an otherwise brilliant idea. And that's true. I think the Saarbahn is very cool, and that if you are a trans enthusiast, you should go ride it because, hey, tram-train to France. But, yeah, that is totally true. Before enough, I was rewatching the footage, and I do want to mention that I was wrong on one bit of info that I said on camera that I'm not sure if made it into the final edit. I don't know, I'm still editing this as I'm recording this. And that's, I said the whole thing is grade separated. That's not true. On the northern spur towards Labat, I think it was just kind of empty when I was riding it. But there is actually a bit on that part of the route that is mixed traffic. But if you're going the southern route from Hauptbahnhof to across the French border, you won't encounter that.
Frisch Luft.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. And as popular request, because apparently it's my signature, here's Mario and Sonic kissing, and here's, I don't know, I don't know what to put over these end credits.
I can keep looking over you and I'm gonna do something.
I don't know. Here, fuck it, let's just transition to it. TFTSB is made possible in part by viewers like you. Thank you. I'm scared. I don't know how to end it. I thought I had my idea, and then it just kind of what. No, would y'all like to learn some German? I learned a very great German phrase recently. It is, Gott ist tot und wir haben ihn getötet. Okay, bye.